Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Now, we are currently at a video conference that is only available with the power of modern age technology. Amazing, right? From the wall inscriptions of early cavemen to the smoke signals of ancient Chinese dynasties, to the camel, pigeon, and pony messengers. Fast forward to the 19th century, Morse code and telephone, up to the modern age of the internet. This is how the communication evolved. First, let us define communication. Kate, would you mind sharing your thoughts about communication?
Sure, individuals or groups can persuade, seek information, or even offer information and expresses emotions by giving, receiving, exchanging ideas or informations by giving signals or messages through appropriate mediums. The body language, speaking, and writing skills are all included in this broad description.
Wow, that was a pretty intelligent response. I 100% agree with you, Kate. Perhaps the most crucial of all life skills is the ability to communicate effectively. It's what allows us to communicate with others and comprehend what they say. Today, let's continue with the major elements of communication process: the sender, receiver, communication channel, feedback, and the communication barrier.
Okay, let's start with the sender. A sender is someone who encodes and sends a message to a recipient over a particular channel. The sender is the one who initiates contact. When you explore how to develop your voice, you're actually encoding your message. This does not imply that your speech is packed with hidden clues for your audience to understand its meaning and purpose. Rather, it provides you with a different perspective on your speech. The audience who will get your message will have to decode it with their knowledge, experience, and intellect. They must understand the message you're trying to convey. Okay, let's have an example. The person who places a letter in the mailbox is an example of a sender. Again, a sender is a device that initiates or generates an information transfer to one or more recipients. It is also known as a source or a transmitter.
Next one is the receiver. The receiver is the one who receives the message and attempts to grasp what the sender is trying to say before responding appropriately. Decoding is another term for this. When the receiver correctly perceives the message sent by the sender, communication is successful. The receiver is the person or people to whom the people is directed.
Next we have is channels. When we say channels, it refers to the medium used to deliver or transmit a message. An example is email. Nowadays, the use of email is being maximized because during our situation, email is one of the most common mediums we used when communicating, like when passing documents, enrolling, applying for a job, and many more. Channels can also be done face to face.
Next is feedback. Feedback can be a part of communication model if the recipient provides any replies or responses, either negative or positive, where the receiver can be the new sender and vice versa. Some believe that communication with feedback is effective, considering the message is already comprehended by the receiver, which enables them to provide a feedback. Replies like asking for clarification, sharing insight about the topic, request permissions, share assessments, and usually giving suggestion and so on. For example, Sharon is at work and decided to surprise her mother with a food delivery. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to pay it online. So she sent a message to Maggie, her sister, who is also in their home, asking if she had extra money to pay for the delivery. On the other hand, her sister doesn't have enough money at the moment. Maggie's response is needed for Sharon to decide whether she continues her surprise or not. How about you guys? Have you experienced waiting for an urgent reply?
Yes, I will give example. After explaining the job to the subordinated, he or she must ask them whether they have understood it or not. Hmm?
So, next is the context. The context is the overall meaning of the message that the sender wants to convey. Does it answer what is the purpose of the message? It is to tell a joke, sarcasm, to motivate, or to provide pieces of information. The context of the message must be comprehended by the receiver meticulously and intelligently to avoid misconceptions, and might as well the sender should use appropriate words in accordance with who is going to read the message. Also, the content must be suitable enough for the situation, topics, and issue. For instances, when you utilize the figures of speech, it must be clear to your audience or the recipient of the message, such as when you run into your smartest schoolmates in the corridor with your best friends and you tell her that, you know what, he is known as a walking calculator. You don't mean that the calculator is literally walking in the corridor. But the boy you run into is a math genius. And another one is when you're writing an application letter um, to the company you were applying to. It should be formal and you must include all the necessary information needed for your application. So, Stella, I have a question for you. What are the factors you considered before sending a message? Um, I hope for its purpose and what its topic is all about. I check the tone or wordings of my message. Like, would it sound once? What would it sound once the receiver read the content? Am I using appropriate words? Are my words polite or unhealthy? To whom am I talking? Is it a friend of mine, an acquaintance, or an VIP one? How old is he or she? Is the person a serious type or approachable? That's all.
Lastly, we have communication barrier. Communication barrier is the one restricting the transmission of the message and it disrupts the conversation. It can be a language barrier. I remember a certain situation wherein I was in Vegan. I'm from Ilocos, by the way. There are this group of tourists who can't speak English. I think they got separated from their group and they tried asking me something but I couldn't understand because they were speaking in Korean. I mean, I do watch K-dramas but I only know basic words. So we really had a hard time communicating with each other, but gladly one of their companion arrived already. So that is one of the examples how language can affect effective communication. So can you give another example, Cecilia?
For me, I consider the utilization of slang, colloquial words, reverse, and abbreviative words, and even the gay lingo as a barrier in communication. We all know that the youth, especially in today's generation, is very experimental and adventurous in the words they are using in communicating and socializing with others, such as in social media, texting, and even just in a simple conversation. This become a problem when it brings confusion and conflict to the other people. As for my experience, sometimes when I'm talking to my friends through chat, they use colloquial words and I am having a hard time comprehending what they are saying. What more to the people who came from others' generation, right?
All right, I think we really enjoyed understanding the communication process. But sadly, we need to say goodbye to each other because my mom is calling me.
Sure, I'm going somewhere too. Bye, girls! Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I joined chatting with you all, especially because we really need to understand the communication process.
We'll see each other next time. Thank you, ladies, and take care always.
See you next time, ladies. Thank you so much. My sister and I enjoyed our group discussion. Right, Cecilia? Absolutely, yes. I'm so happy with our group discussion. Thank you so much, girls.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.